Welcome to another edition of Crypto with Kamal. I'm Kamal Hubbard, and I'm broadcasting from the Swop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin during ICP CC 24, and I'm here with Aaron Biebert of the Swop. You're the broadcast director here, and you've done so much in Milwaukee. I want to talk about that a little bit, but can you talk about what was taking place during the conference and how you work together in this global simulcast?
Yeah, it was a crazy thing. 9 hours, as you know. We practically had to have Kyle on an IV to keep him hydrated during that. It was just insane.
Yeah,
we were trying to, during the breaks, we appreciated the longer talk so he could stretch and almost like we had to have a medical team for him. He kept going, though. It was tough. Like a robot, just amazing. I mean, although robots aren't usually the best for broadcast, but he managed. He was like a machine. Coordinating that, thankfully we had Esteban here because he had been, as you can imagine, tons of speakers, tons of different pieces of content, and Esteban really, I don't know, this has been months of work to get it to that point, and pulling it all together. That was fun too, and that was quite crazy because there was thousands of people watching. So, it's fun. That kind of thing. It's like digital broadcast kind of give you the opportunity to reach, a larger audience that you wouldn't hit in a room. Thousands of people in a room, that would be hard to get, and asking people from all corners of the earth to fly to one location, not everyone's going to be able to do that, especially people who are in startups or, it's expensive to fly around the world, So this gives people very inclusive, very community driven, and that was the awesome part about it, is watching people be able to participate all corners of the earth. That's why you need a 9-hour broadcast. So you can kind of at least hit a little bit of everyone. Some people are a little late, some people are a little early, but everybody could get involved. So it was crazy. It was amazing. Yeah.
So what did pre-production look like leading up to the conference? What was your team's approach to, keeping up with what was going on globally, keeping up with Kyle, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, well, Kyle, he was a workhorse this week. He had 2 other rehearsals earlier in the week just to kind of get ready and prepped. And then the day before the conference, there was a full day rehearsal with all the content, getting everything, making sure, checking everything, running through it. It went very well yesterday. We were really happy about that. But everyone had to work for that, and full day of rehearsal. We basically went through all of it the day before, just making sure everything was good, and it worked off. So the hard work paid off, but a lot of preparation for it.
It was very slick, very smooth, and I know you guys were in your production room just staying busy, right? And I took a picture of it. I know you guys didn't see it, but that's awesome. I thought it was pretty great how you guys were able to come together, and you guys are just hitting it, segment after segment, making sure it all was very seamless. So congratulations to your team on that.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad you got to see that. I'm glad you were able to get back there and see, because it is believe it or not, a handcrafted process. Like, when is it ready? Okay, switching, like all that. It's not, none of it was for the most part automated. So there's a lot of intensity for 9 hours. Jenny in the back running the cameras and switching all that, and I kind of was there to make sure timing and everything was good, and Jimmy was making sure the stuff looked good, and technical side of that. And man, the dream team was working on it yesterday for sure, and it was really fun for me to be a part of that. I get to work with these 10-year plus veterans, and pulled it off.
Well, you guys did a great job once again, and thank you too for allowing me to kind of come along. This is more of a behind-the-scenes sort of thing, I feel like, now that the conference is concluded.
This is the quiet time where we can relax and just talk.
Right. And I think that's good, because now the pressure has been lifted, and we can just talk conversationally.
Right.
But getting back to what you do here in Milwaukee. You've been in video and media production for quite some time. Can you tell the folks who are tuning in how you got into it here, and what do you find unique about doing media production in Milwaukee?
Well, Oh, yeah, it goes back probably about 14 years. That's when I started originally doing like web series for a couple real estate brands that were kind of doing like rehabbing houses and helping families get into, just totally like more like a little TV show, but they were doing this at scale. They were doing like 10 a month. So we were kind of covering that. It was kind of fun. I was learning about how to tell stories using this sort of new, YouTube is happening now, and you can get a camera for $200. That didn't used to be the case, and digital was quite helpful, obviously, compared to using film or tape. So yeah, I got into it back then, and yeah, slowly but surely, just kind of work hard and do your best, and take care of people, and don't screw people over, and you just kind of keep growing, doing bigger things. We'd end up doing a movie in 2016 that was in theaters in 7 countries and won awards in film festivals in 4 continents, and yeah, like crazy amount of interviews and press and XM radio and CNBC and The Street and all kinds of. It was a lot of fun. That kind of helped bring things to the next level, and done some TV shows. One we're working on has a regional Emmy nomination for the first season. The second one's they're just putting that in now. So I would assume the second season was even better. So I would hope, but you don't know on that one. And we did another feature film, and yeah, probably a total of about 2,000 different projects over the years. So yeah, keeping busy, working hard, loving Web3, looking forward to finding ways to get creative people involved. We've been super interested in finding ways to get creatives into Web3. In a good way, not the sort of weird rug pulley stuff or whatever. That stuff sucks, and it breaks my heart every time because you can build a community, but instead it gets weird, And so we're looking forward and watching things mature, and it's been awesome. And the Internet Computer for me, it's pretty much the only platform that can actually host the creative assets inside of it and use smart contracts like your film or music could literally be part of a smart contract. Literally, it's hosted right there, And so to me, this is just an unbelievable platform.
It is. And so let's kind of unpack that process. Maybe for someone who, one, doesn't know what the Internet Computer is. Let's just at that basic level. Can you define what the Internet Computer Protocol is or the IC is? And we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Well, and that's the question is like, what's different? People have heard of hundreds of different blockchains at this point, but when you look at the capabilities, the thing that stands out for me, the Internet Computer, is that idea that it has this like cloud functionality. So when you upload them and that is becoming more and more permissionless and available. These tools are being built. Daniel, who was at this conference, he's been working on ways to help people get that stuff directly into the Internet Computer themselves, and that's going to be a huge impact. You don't have to go through someone else. You can just upload it. And I've seen, we are working on it together in some cases, and watching this stuff, literally, you have an amazing photograph that you want to do anything with. Just upload it like you do to Google Drive, and then what? After that, the sky's the limits with something like this. Do you want to have it gate, like Jesse's personal DAO thing? Do you want to have a piece of art? Do you have to have someone's piece of art in order to be in their art DAO or whatever? It's just, you could do almost anything with it. And that, that's really cool because that's not like the normal internet.
Yeah, and I think it is this open internet concept that enables or really opens up Web3.
Right.
Like you're talking about the storage, websites, media, large file size media as well.
400 gigs I think is the cap. I haven't tried that yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haven't tried that one yet, but Carl was mentioning with his project with creators, no code creators, none of this is going to really take off and be big unless we get more of the creators seeing a way for them to make this a part of their livelihood and their community stuff.
Right.
And that is, I think the tools are coming, but, it takes time. And the DAO tooling, those of you who follow me on on Twitter at ICBBert, I've been whining about where's the DAO tooling, and it's coming now. And Jesse's working on that. Other people are working on that, but I've seen some things where you can even use people who have collections of creative assets can vote on a project, just because on the Internet Computer, if you have that NFT or other, verified digital asset, you can,
Right.
that's a vote. That could represent a vote.
Right.
So like DAOs aren't just tokens. They could
Right.
also be photographs or
Right.
music. Music. Do you have 3 out of our 5 singles? Well, then you get to vote on where we go on tour. Like that can all be possible, and I think it's going to be very, very cool in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think all the narratives that we're seeing in this very odd market that we're in
I mean,
now,
yeah,
but
it's crazy. It's a roller coaster, right?
AI, you can do that on
Yep.
ICP.
Yep.
Real world assets, you can do that on ICP.
Mm-hmm.
Decentralized physical infrastructure, you could do that on ICP.
Mm-hmm.
So that's once again demonstrates the value proposition of this network, and that's why I'm fascinated by it. I'm still learning more about it, and it's like a completely different rabbit hole, right? You fall into the Bitcoin
Right.
rabbit hole. This is its own rabbit hole,
Right.
and I'm still trying to find my way through it.
And Bitcoin is great, of course. That's
Yeah.
the Gen 1. Ethereum Gen 2. There's a plenty of other like improvements on the Gen 2. Like I would say even like Solana is a massive improvement in a lot of things, speed and things. But this is like Generation 3. It's a different generation of
Right.
internet computers, not like those ones. And I think Dominic Williams did a good job yesterday during the conference of mentioning how it's just different. It's not meant to compete. It's just fill in the gaps and add new ways that Web3 can actually happen. Because you cannot literally, and I counsel people against this all the time, don't try to build this massive thing on just Ethereum using that. It's not nice. $50 gas fees for your people to
Right.
do anything. On the internet
Right.
computer, it's virtually, it's extremely inexpensive and often covered by the platform itself. Like, so if we want people to use it, stop making them pay $50 to like send something to somebody, because who's
Right.
going to do that?
Right.
Like that's insane. That thing shouldn't even be $50. You don't need 10. Maybe super valuable things, which is the case for like Bitcoin or a lot of Ethereum stuff. Yeah, if it's like you're sending somebody a house, maybe you want something super secure that costs $50 to send someone the deed to the house. That's great, but like trading cards, this isn't right. And it's not nice. It's not nice to ask everyone to join that. And so that's one of the things I love about the internet computer, is that it's actually possible to be nice to your community and let them have affordable things. Like that $50 is crazy, like gas fees. And I know they've been working hard on scaling out that stuff, but it just makes it more complicated. This is for the most part everything you need, except for if you really want to make it the most absolutely locked down. Nothing's better than Bitcoin for that kind of stuff security-wise. It's just super decentralized and very strong, but it doesn't do much, Although they would say, ordinals and whatnot.
Yeah, and I kind of want to go back to what you mentioned a little bit earlier around film production and film release in Web3 using ICP. What does that look like for you? I know that we're seeing projects like Tracks, where we're seeing that with music.
Yep.
How is it going to look with film? Are there any projects right now that are going on, or how do you envision it?
I've been trying for 3 years since Genesis to kind of help collaborate on that, and film's a little bit more complicated of a medium, because inside of every film you of course have music, and there's like rights to there's
Right.
like that's a piece of art. You just have a lot more collaborators with film, and so one of the things it's a dream, and I've been working on it since day one, called the Stoken Protocol, and we haven't really talked too much about it lately, but the idea that elements that are part of a creative, a complex thing like a film, that the credits and the potential royalties just kind of all flow through in a smart contract way, because
Right.
that's better. We've done plenty of deals where we had distributors distributing our film, and our first film was like number 3 on iTunes back in the day when they sold films through iTunes. They don't do that anymore, but back then, and the distributor that we had ended up going out of business. We ended up getting the money. We got our money before they went out of business, but tons of filmmakers just lost their money. Their own money was lost because in the middle, the person or company essentially that was doing unethical things. And so for me, I'm like scarred by watching
Right.
middle people essentially do nothing. For the most part, really. Like the reason why it was on iTunes because people wanted it, not because of this middleman, know.
Right.
And so it's like, what can we do where we not get rid of middle people? Have a job, they have contributions they make, but they have to make their contributions, right?
Yeah.
And that can be accounted for in theory on the internet computer, where there's a percentage for the distributor. But why do we need to wait and then it takes 6 months to get paid? So for a filmmaker, it's a nightmare out there because it's like 6 months to get paid on your stuff. And we know through smart contracts that could be instant. Someone rents it. Imagine if everyone who gets a piece of that film gets paid instantly every time someone rents it. I mean, that's the dream, right? And people make more films, and people will be able to have, buy their houses and buy their cars and do the things that they need to do, daily, instead of having to wait 6 months while they're like practically bankrupt. I've seen people, tons of filmmakers. My heart goes out. We've had a lot of success, but not everybody does, partly because of these pressures. And I think internet computer can literally change that. We just got to get some more tooling and more traction too,
Yeah, and I think just like looking at that whole timeline, right, where you can also raise money to, produce a film, right, using ICP. Then, like you said, you can assign rights to all the participants using ICP. You can host the film on ICP and distribute on ICP.
You could literally do, and that's the exciting thing, everything can be done on it.
Right, and then I think that can build new communities especially fans of those films, right? Who can all interact with each other, can become patrons of either the actors or the other filmmakers in ways that we couldn't do before.
Yeah, you could. I was even thinking about this, doing a thing where every frame in a film was an NFT.
Oh,
and that
wow.
As people staked their frame, you would actually make part of it, and the more people that staked it, it would be more available for people to watch. Like a documentary that was community-driven, that people wanted other people to see, that they had to participate in that. I don't know. There's tons of things that could be done. I mean, it's unbelievably powerful, and I think for the most part, we've just begun, really. And I know that's always what they say, but I don't think people have fully imagined what's possible with this platform. It's insane.
Yeah, I think the 20-year plan that they released, and when I heard about it,
yeah, 20-year plan. I love that.
Right, because you look at so many roadmaps with so many different projects, and it's like Q1, Q2, Q3. So you're not even going to tell me what you're going to do in a full year?
I don't think they know, and most projects aren't big enough to even contemplate that. They're not trying to replace the internet.
Of course, yeah.
Right, and so there's tons of things, and for the most part, they've done what they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
Things have kept moving forward. It doesn't seem, I'm not personally wondering if in the future it'll have this or more of that or whatever. If they put it in the roadmap, for the most part, they're getting it done, and that's super impressive. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to not be in a weird ghost project.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for taking time out from producing and post-producing everything in ICP CC 24. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about what you're doing in the community or about yourself or where people can find you?
Gosh, I kind of stay a little bit quieter these days because it's been a circus, but I'm there. I definitely think people should definitely connect with the Swop. Kyle has been doing amazing work with authenticity, working his butt off, in a space that's confusing and crazy and always changing. He's done a great job. I want to see people continue. I mean, he has a great group of people following the Swop. I would love to see more people do it. It's real. This isn't some weird sort of ruggy. It's hard to know who's good people, but Kyle's good people. He needs to be followed and supported. Right now, Sydney and Jenny are making this video. That's cool. I'm out here hanging out with you, which is fun. But we got a good team, and I love them. Shout out to Jenny and Sydney for doing that. And then, follow the Swop, Code and State. I mean, people are doing cool stuff. People should just get on board, and they are, but get more. If you're wondering, I don't know, I have enough time, there's so many there's tons of random, noisy projects. Ignore those ones. The ones that have been, not first, you need to follow the ones that have been working hard for years. Just get behind them. A lot of new people in the ecosystem. Find the OG projects, get behind them. Let's get this thing more weight. Let's keep it rolling.
Right on.
Awesome.
Well, with that, don't just make it a good day, make it a great day with crypto. Crypto with Kamal. We'll see you on the next one from ICP CC 24.